story of the place is not just the past of the place, it's also the present. My name is Yonatan Mizrahi. I'm an Israeli. I'm from Jerusalem. I was born in Jerusalem. In my profession, I'm an archaeologist. I study archaeology here in Jerusalem in the Hebrew University. I worked in excavations mostly with the Israeli Antiquities Authority. For a few years, I worked as an archaeologist in East Jerusalem. There was a very intense time when I was almost every day coming to East Jerusalem, and I became familiar what it means East Jerusalem for me, an Israeli guy that was born in Jerusalem, but in West Jerusalem, and all his knowledge about East Jerusalem is very limited to maybe the old city. When we walk here in Silwan, you walk in a typical Palestinian village. If you're familiar with the landscape here, you know it's a typical Arabic village. This is what it is. This is Silwan.
My name Ahmad Karain. I have born here in Silwan. This building, it's the Mada Creative Center, and outside the Information Center. We established these two centers to care about our people here in Silwan because the Israeli municipality and the Israeli authority didn't care about them, never. So we started to care about them for the kids, to give them services, to help them. Silwan is the biggest village in East Jerusalem. It was occupied in 1967. We lived under the Israeli occupation between 1967 and 1991. Since 1991 until now, we are living under the second occupation. It's mean the city of David occupation.
Like many Palestinian villages, but especially in this area, there sits on an archaeological site. In the case of Silwan, Silwan actually sits on an archaeological site called City of David today. What is important about it is the place where Jerusalem began, based on the archaeological evidence. But what happened during the years that when archaeologists discovered that Silwan is the place that they can find the ruins of the beginning of Jerusalem, Silwan started to be excavated by different delegations. And today there are different spots that have been excavated during the years and some spots that still been excavated. Everything is very political here. There's nothing that you can do which is not political. Even being a tourist is a political activity. Doing excavation is definitely political. I think archaeology is a very powerful tool. Now it also could be very powerful tool as a positive tool to bridge between cultures and people, but also could be very nationalistic tool that emphasize one thing and connected it to very specific identity. Today, there's ongoing discussion about demolishing most of the houses we see in the valley and to expand the touristic area. Now, according to some scholars, based on what is written in the Bible, there is a place that's known as the King's Garden. Nobody knows exactly what it is, nobody knows where it is for sure, but some scholars believe that maybe the King's Garden used to be here in the valley and the municipality planned to demolish these houses over there and to plant an orchard that remind us how the garden in the biblical time used to look like, or how we imagine the biblical garden. For us, it's a very dangerous example how in the name of the history or in the name of the archaeology, or maybe you can say in the name of the Bible, you come today and say your present life is less important than what we want to emphasize about the history and about the past, and we decided to demolish your houses and to evacuate you from your houses.
The settlers here digging under our houses without to ask us, my house, now under the demolition order. They want to demolish my house. For example, my brother have demolition order for his house. My father have demolition order for his house. Now when the settlers came, they closed our shops here, our coffee shop here. It happened suddenly. To come, the policeman came to arrest the kids or to arrest my brothers or my friends. So all the time we are busy with these problems. We don't have time to take our kids to trip or to travel because we have to care about our house 24 hours every day. The settlers here as a state in state, they have the power here, they have their weapon, they have their militia, they have their money, their private laws. The settlers can do here everything, nobody can stop them. 4 years ago they tried to kill me. They sent for me one of the settlers with his M16 and he shot me twice, one here and one here. We're using the anti-violent ways, what they call it, the democrats, to go to the court. For example, when they started to dig under our houses, we didn't fight with them. We went to the court, to Israeli court. The judge said the Jews have the right to find their history. He didn't care about our houses, what happened, how it's fell down, how it has the cracks, how it's all the time my house like that. He only said that the Jews have the right to find the history.
What happened about a few years ago, that the Israeli authorities, together with the settlers, understood that if they are just emphasizing the archaeological site, suddenly you see how, through the archaeology, the present is disappearing. It doesn't mean the present does not exist. It doesn't mean that the houses you see are not exist here, or the Palestinians that you can later talk to are not here. But for the people that are coming here, they're coming to a place that the narrative they hear and the narrative they see, not just what they hear, is the archaeological narrative that's been explained to them in a very specific way, how it's connected to their identity, to their heritage, and why it should be under Israeli hold in the future.
They found Islamic cemetery, they found some Christians antiques, they found a beautiful thing for the peasant, for the Muslims, for the Christian. They took and they throw everything, they leave some stones, then started to call this place the second temple.
Most of the people, the main reason they're coming to Israel-Palestine is because they're coming to the Holy Land in one way or another. They want to learn about the history of Jerusalem. So for them to come here, they tell us that the idea is to tell the tourists, listen, there is no present, there is only the Bible here. You cannot ignore the Bible when you're coming to Israel-Palestine. It doesn't matter if you are a believer or not. The Bible is deep in the Israeli identity, at least. I think the Bible is delivering us a historical story with a lot of information. This is kind of guiding that we are criticizing, a guiding that you're coming with the Bible and the explanation is in the Bible, although there is archaeology here that you can see. When she talks about what you see in the other side, it's again mentioning of the Bible and about a grave that no one of us saw actually. And you see how the touristic narrative that's been delivered here ignore totally the present. And nobody even asking, what do we see here? They might ask maybe something about the archaeology or where it's related, but the story is so powerful if it's from the Bible or if it's from the quote that we're having here. So we're ignoring what our eyes actually see.
Thank you.
I think that coming with the Bible to this tour is misunderstanding the history of Jerusalem.
We believe that this is our land and our history. I'm not guilty if King David was here or not. I am not guilty if King David was here, so he was Palestinian. So, and maybe my family were Jewish when King David was here. After that, the Christians made them Christians. After that, the Muslims made them Muslims. I'm not guilty. But what this state doing here, they want to prove that only the Jews were here all the time and nobody else. This is the Holy Land for everyone. And I believe that the Jews were here and the Christians were here and the Canaanites 5,500 years were here. Why it's right for them to go back 3,000 years and not allowed for us to go to visit our villages which occupied in 1948?
This is the core of the conflict in many ways. I mean, can we as Israelis understand that the diverse ancient cultures that exist in this area is not just something that belongs to us, the Israelis? There used to be here Islamic layers, used to be here Palestinian layers, used to be here Christian layers. So it's not just one layer of one identity or one nation or one culture that you can talk about. And if both sides will see that the diverse history of Jerusalem is something that is beyond one nation story. It's not only Israeli story, it's not only Palestinian story, it's not one religion story as well. If people can be really open to understand the diversity of Jerusalem, they can also be more open to understand actually how Jerusalem became what it is today.